Good morning, folks. Good morning, folks. It's install day right now. We're headed to Unplugged Performance in Hawthorne, California to get the luxury coilover suspension installed in my 2020 Model Y. The reason I'm getting the suspension installed is to see, is there a way to make the Model Y ride smoother? And we're gonna see if it's worth the money. So we're headed over there right now. Also, there is a Model Y Performance behind me, but it has the 19-inch standard wheels with no hubcaps on it. I've never seen that before. I don't know what he's trying to do. Trying to build a Tesla sleeper. I guess he's done a nice job of that, but I saw the little red line under Dole Motor. Not fooling me. Yeah, so we're on our way there right now in the California traffic. I gotta say, it's kind of funny. If you watch the news about California, like the whole place is burning down. It's a terrible place to live. Blah, blah, blah. I get the taxes are high, but it's such a beautiful state. Like, they have the best land in the country, and it's nice to be here. I didn't realize SpaceX was right here. Here's Rocket Road, or at least one of the campuses. Looks like they have a Falcon 9 rocket. And there's SpaceX. That's pretty cool. So in my unboxing video, I said to you guys that I was going to take my car to Unplugged, have them do the installation, and kind of walk you through the installation. Unfortunately, Unplugged was building their Pikes Peak car, which I'm sure you saw last year, where Randy Popes actually got in an accident in one of the practice runs, and they were able to rebuild the car in like 24 hours and actually make it to the top of the mountain. Pretty incredible feat. Check those videos out if you haven't already. But anyways, I went out to Unplugged and I got some pictures of the suspension in the car, but I wasn't able to get back in there and actually have the film while they were doing it because there was so much going on in the garage. It just didn't make sense. But before we get into the suspension install, here is a look at the Unplugged and BBS collaboration that they did. These are called the Flugplatz 20-inch wheels. The color you're looking at there is just gloss black. If I were to get these, they also come in a satin asteroid graphite, they're called. The other crazy thing is, for this type of a wheel, I mean, usually these are $2,500 a piece. These total for all four are $2,295. So really fairly priced, and it's a beautiful looking wheel, especially on the Model Y or Model 3, something I may do in the future. But here's a look at the car as it's sitting up on the jack, and I got to take some pictures of them going through the process. The shop's clean, and they did this, I swear to God, the suspension was on in like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours at most. So as far as speed, they were very quick, and they still had a ton going on in the garage. The fact they were able to get me in and out of there in about half of the time I was originally quoted was awesome. So here's some additional shots of the suspension actually installed in the car in the wheel well, so you can get an idea of what settings they have the lock rings on and that type of stuff. Coming up in the video, Eric, who is their after sales manager, takes a ride with me in the car, and we talk about all the settings and all the different adjustments you can make. So that's coming in just a little bit, but wanted to get some B-roll here of the suspension actually in the car so you could check it out. Here's the rear part of the car. You can see all the springs separate from the shock absorber. The new suspension looks amazing, and it's kind of a shame once the wheel goes back on, you never actually see this again, but you still have access to the adjustability, which we're going to talk about here shortly. And this is what you guys have been looking forward to, the adjustability, and then I will give you my review on how the car rides afterwards. Okay, so the car is ready to go here. I'm not going to show you the full setup yet, but I'm here with Eric, who helped with the install, and he's going to show me how to adjust the damping settings.
Correct. Okay. So this is the rear adjustment. The blue knob that you can see there is easily turnable by hand. Okay. It can go counterclockwise or clockwise, depending on where we're currently set. All right. We are currently set at 5 clicks above soft, so if you wanted to go harder, it's just clicks to the right, and you want to make sure you do it evenly from side to side. Okay. If you wanted to go back, you know, obviously just counterclockwise. It's super easy click. You can kind of audibly hear like a click noise, and you can also feel it in your hands. Okay, cool. So right now we're set at 5. If you wanted to go up, you know, let's say 6 months from now, you forget where you're at, it's always best just to crank it all the way back down to 0. Okay. And start over from there. Got it. Now, we can show the front. All right.
Even though it's only 1/4 of an inch, you can see the difference, yeah.
So for the front, we do actually require this panel to come off.
Okay.
Literally just pops right up. side's a little harder to see, so it's easier on this side. These two knobs right here.
Oh, sweet.
Exact same scenario as the back. We're currently set at 5. If you were to counterclockwise or clockwise, you can just kind of click it there.
Yeah.
Same thing. You hear that audible tone, and you feel it.
Yeah. No, that's really nice.
The one on the driver's side is there.
Oh, I see it.
Stubby down there,
yeah.
but you can still reach down there and turn it.
Okay. Cool.
Just not as easily visible.
Yeah. I've never actually even looked in here. And
you have your normal 12-volt battery here.
Yeah.
You can kind of see some cooling and condensing stuff down here for the motors and such. The vehicle's cooling system, the brake system's right here. This is the brake fluid reservoir.
Okay.
And this is your induction for your air conditioning.
Oh, got it. All the Phoenix dust sucked into there.
Definitely.
That's cool. Awesome.
Yeah. So I would say feel free, drive how you normally would drive.
Okay.
You know, I hope you'll notice a nice difference.
No, I'm excited to feel it. Yeah, because again, this is my first coilover setup. I've driven cars with it, but I haven't had the stock, then moving to coilovers, so already I can feel it's like, I think it's the damping is what, with the OEM suspension, is it's a little firm, in my opinion. I feel like it hits harder than it should.
Yeah. So, ultimately, major bumps, you will still hear and feel that abruptness. But overall, like train tracks, which we're about to cross over right now.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Now, if you were to hit, you know, a big pothole, you'll still feel that jolt.
Right.
The suspension's not magical, but, you know, it does do amazing things for your day-to-day driving.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if you were to kind of do one of these, you can kind of feel how responsiveness it is.
Yeah, I mean, all of the little subtleties in the road that it really picks up before it smoothed those out. It doesn't totally eliminate, but it gives it a more luxury feel. It absorbs more, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
even over these little bumps in the road. Yeah, and I might actually take this to a track eventually, so being able to tighten it all the way up.
Yeah.
So if you want to, let's say I wanted to change the ride height, what would I have to do for that? You have to get the car jacked up and then adjust the locking mechanism, right? Okay. So
it's definitely easier to do with a lift that will take all 4 wheels off the ground at once, but you can do them individually.
Yeah.
The hardest part and the most important part is to make sure they're all evenly adjusted.
Yeah.
What'll happen is if you have one side that's a little lower than the other, regardless of the alignment specs, regardless of anything, the car will always naturally want to kind of drift that direction.
Oh, okay.
And, you know, handling characteristics on that aspect will drastically be affected.
Okay.
You know, you won't necessarily feel abruptness change in the dampening specs or anything like that, but just overall feeling it'll want to pull.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, we do supply the spanner wrenches with our kit.
Yep.
They are in the box with everything.
Okay.
And our user guide is pretty informative on how to make those adjustments if need be.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you guys have any other questions, you know, we're only a phone call away.
Right.
Either myself or Eddie will most likely be answering that call, and we'll walk you through step by step how to take care of it.
Okay, perfect. No, I appreciate the hospitality you guys have provided. It's been, first of all, the campus that you guys have. You're next to SpaceX, you're next to where all these launches are, this airport. I mean, and then the Tesla design studio. That's so cool to be able to show up to work there every day. I mean,
it definitely has its perks. You know, from time to time we get to see some pretty cool rocket ships and random parts just hanging out in the parking lot.
Yeah, James said he was late to work one day because there was a rocket in the street. It's like, hey.
You know, very few employers would believe that, but we have to use that sometimes.
Right. That's a great, I love that. But my initial impression so far, like, you can absolutely tell a difference. And this is on the softer end of the settings, so we can go all the way up to, there's 32 settings for this suspension as far as the stiffness of it. So there's a lot that I can adjust over different surfaces that I'll be testing over time. Right, so is the 32nd would be the stiffest?
Correct.
Got it.
That'll essentially feel like a very stiff race car.
Okay.
You know, counteracting, coming back down from there You know, if you wanted to explore in some nice canyon roads, I'd recommend putting them like mid-20s.
Okay.
It'll give you that still softer but nice and firm feeling. Right now we're at 5.
Yeah.
You can feel how much of a drastic change it is just from stock.
Yeah.
You know, most of our customers typically find themselves sitting between 6 and 8. From time to time we will go up to 12 or 13, but it really depends on you, the driver, what you're doing with the car, how you're doing what you're doing with the car with, you know. So it's many variables at play. What's awesome about the adjustability on this is we can fine tune it to what you would like.
Yes, yeah, I love that. Just being able to constantly tinker with it. Yeah, that's really cool. Now, I appreciate you taking a ride with me just to give some of that information. Is it right here?
Correct.
Yeah.
Right next to the rocket.
Yeah, just next to the rocket.
So those abrupt hits are still going to be somewhat audible, but it's not, you know, nearly as abrupt feeling.
Yes. Yeah, it just eats up more of the subtleties of the road, the imperfections.
Yeah,
it looks like a heat shield for a rocket. Probably is.
That is one thing we have not been able to identify, but we've seen these here quite often.
It's so ridiculous. Left here?
Left here.
Okay.
And these are Tesla's portable superchargers on this tractor trailer bed right here.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. So what's that for, like racetracks or something?
We don't know exactly their purpose. We have had them bring out that trailer to Laguna Seca for one of our Tesla courses.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why we know it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I don't know what they use with it on a normal day-to-day basis.
Huh. Everyone's socially distanced at the food truck line.
This right here, I don't know if James, I knew you guys went for a walk, but this is a wind tunnel for SpaceX and Tesla.
So they do the wind tunnel testing for their cars in that thing?
You know, cars I don't know. I think they specifically do parts and models, if I had to guess.
Okay.
So like scale models.
Ah, yeah, that makes sense.
But I do know that when it's running, you can see like all sorts of water running off of it. It helps cool it down.
Yeah, it makes me love Tesla more seeing all of this.
That's awesome.
You know, like just everything's made here in the U.S. and it's pretty cool. Appreciate you going on a ride with me.
Definitely.
Very helpful for all the people viewing these videos to get the right information. Sometimes I don't know what I'm saying. I start saying the wrong things, get roasted in the comments.
No worries. Well, if you have any further questions, I can get you my business card. You can shoot me an email, anything. Gladly help out. If you want me to proofread or watch something, by all means, I can do that for you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cool.
So this has been absolutely an incredible day. I'm currently at the area where the very first superchargers were. So I'm at a 250 kilowatt supercharger here, right outside of the office. So you have this here, charging up, and he said this would be a kind of a good place for a photo op. It's just awesome. This is where the design studio is for Tesla. So this is where the Model Y and all of the Model 3, Model S, everything, Model X, everything was designed here. It's very cool to be here. I'm just getting charged up before I head back out on my trip. These superchargers are not on the map, but it's more of like I think it's more of a thing for like nostalgia to be here. These are where the first ones, guy going with, he's got SpaceX part. It's such a crazy place to be, and all of this stuff is manufactured in the United States. It makes me love Tesla more than I already do. I actually, on this trip, regained an appreciation for my Model Y, because just so much driving in the city and driving around the same old grid roads in Arizona, you're like, any car can become mundane. And driving it out in California and some more open roads with curves and things like that, it was just fun. And now to have this suspension on here that I can tune and take to the track and the canyons and make it for comfort, I feel like we're just getting started down a very long road of tuning with the Model Y, and then beginning a relationship with Unplugged Performance. Everyone there was so helpful. Max, who I initiated the sale with, Jeff, James was amazing. He gave me a whole tour of the facility, showing me what all of these buildings are with SpaceX and things like that. Unplugged is an OEM plus type of company. What I mean by that is they sustain the high level testing on each of their parts that you do with OEM testing. There's a lot of R&D that goes into making these parts. That's why I chose them. I chose them because, first of all, look, they're right on the campus. And second of all, they're making parts that are good as or exceed the OEM parts on the car. Everyone knows the Model Y rides a little firm, so they created a coilover suspension. You can also get an air suspension, but air suspension adds so much more complication to the car. This is very simple. Letting them professionally install it, I can go in and do the tuning on my own. The whole experience has been amazing. I can't say thank you to them enough, but we just need to get on the road now to actually do further testing, get further thoughts on how the car rides. Cruising along on the highway here. Let's put it in autopilot. Yeah, the car it's just smoother overall. I mean, there is, it's almost like there's a rubberized feel to the suspension and how it goes along the road. I think it reduces cabin noise a little bit. It also increases the range of the car by about 2 to 5%. I'm gonna be paying attention to the kilowatt hours per mile that the car is reading. So because the car will be sitting just a 1/4 of an inch lower, and you can do it more if you want, the surface area of tire is reduced. If there's this much tire showing and now there's this much tire showing, that's less drag hitting the tire. That's why the range would be increased. That's what James was describing to me, because I was thinking maybe just because the whole car sits lower, it's actually more because of the tire and surface area showing. So yeah, very happy with everything so far. And again, there's gonna be so much more testing that I do on this and just giving you guys feedback to say, hey, is this something that's worth doing for your car? We'll continue to talk about that over the other videos that I do. So I'm cruising along here and I was just thinking like how fortunate I am to be able to do YouTube for a living. I mean, it's not like it happened by luck or anything. I've been doing this for over 10 years consistently. So it's not like I just decided one day to quit and start doing something. I mean, I had to work different jobs, save up money, and then build this up to a point where I could sustain myself. Very thankful. I appreciate your guys' support as always. More on the suspension as I'm sitting here. There's a sick 911 with a ducktail spoiler coming up beside me here. Take a look at this. Looks amazing. Love the ducktail. You gotta love the ducktail. But the suspension is great. I mean, the car almost feels like it's a little more sporty. That might be because it's a 1/4 of an inch lower, but it feels great. It's not a drastic change. You're not gonna get in the car and be like, oh, this feels like I'm driving on clouds. But it is more comfortable. It does smooth out imperfections in the road. On bigger bumps, you still have a hit just like any other car. But for the most part, it's an improvement. Another person who does have the suspension described it as about a 50% improvement, and I think I agree with that. It's about a 50% improvement on how firm the stock suspension is. So it smooths everything out, gives you 32 points of adjustability, 0 being soft, 32 being stiff. So maybe if I end up taking this to the track at some point, I'll put it on a stiffer setting, or if I'm going to the canyons, I'll put it on a stiffer setting. It's just cool to have that adjustability. And then to adjust the height of the car, I would go and I'd have to put it up on a lift and do a lot more. So for stiffness, you can any person can adjust it within a couple of minutes. You can have the car set up totally differently. And the way Unplugged manufactured it makes it very accessible to go into the frunk area, make the adjustments as you saw earlier in the video, and then on the rear of the car, you're able to turn that little knob. So they do a nice job manufacturing everything, and then just their facility being like right with SpaceX, and also Unplugged is the only aftermarket company that is approved by Tesla, so that gives them access to proprietary information that helps them make their parts fit Teslas perfectly. So it gives them access to information that other aftermarket companies do not have. They are the only one that has that. So I'm extremely impressed with Unplugged. Also, if you're not following them on Instagram, I highly recommend it. They have a lot that's upcoming that I was able to see today. I can't say anything about it, but they were so gracious in showing me around the property and showing me all this stuff. If you're gonna order something for your Tesla, check out their website. Again, I'm not sponsored by them. I paid full MSRP for everything that I did today. So this is not like a paid product promotion or anything. This is just my experience. Everything that they manufacture there is at such a high quality. I really enjoyed my time there. I learned a lot, opened my eyes up to the aftermarket world of Tesla. It gave me maybe some inspiration to do more with my Model Y and make it a little more unique. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that was helpful. I'll try to get back to as many comments as possible on the suspension, but yeah, is it worth it? I would say so. I mean, I think now I'm on smooth roads right now. I can absolutely tell a difference. just don't expect to get in your car and it feels like you're driving an entirely new thing. It's just going to be a, like I said, 50% improvement, which is absolutely welcome. And then having a little bit more efficiency if you decide to lower your car. I didn't want to go too low because, again, it was all about comfort, which is such a weird thing coming from the world of making cars faster and lower and stiffer, which is what I always used to do. Now it's for this specific reason, for the purpose of this car, driving it on road trips and things like that. I don't want it to be stiff. I want it to be comfortable. So that's what this is for. And if you do want yours to be stiff, they have a sports suspension. So yeah, check their website out. Give them a follow on Instagram. They're a solid company. I'm sure a lot of you are already aware of them. They don't need me telling you. Some good things coming in the future with me and Unplugged. I'll keep you posted as we go along. Can't thank them enough. The entire staff there was amazing. I'll be looking forward to doing more with them in the future as long as these videos do well, and hopefully you guys like this information. And I'll continue to update you in the future videos on the car. So now I'm just driving back to Phoenix. I have a long drive ahead of me, but Hyundai just delivered a Veloster N to my house for me to do videos on for a week. So I'm very excited to get back to that. Just got to do some editing and be good to go. Thank you guys for watching. Please give the video a thumbs up if you're still with me, and I'll see you in the next video.